What's going on? It's just me. Flip will be here in literally like 15 seconds, probably. He is running just slightly late. Figured I'd hop on, say hi to everybody, see what's going on for this week, see how everybody's doing. I feel like it's been a long time since our last hangout time, even though it's only been a week. Last week was an interesting show about Leonardo DiCaprio. What's going on, Alyssa? Glad you're here. And Sardis is here. Hey, Jeff. Eric, glad the family's all here. And Flip should be logging in right now. R. Brooks, what's going on? Stendhal, man, all kinds of people here. Nice to see everybody. I am excited for tonight. We are going to be talking about underseen, underappreciated movies since the year 2000. And we have gotten a whole lot of people over the last couple months talking about how they don't watch newer movies. So what we wanted to do is talk about some movies from the last couple decades that we really want to highlight that are genuinely pretty great. And speak of the devil, here he is.
What's up, guys?
How we doing?
Long time no see. I'm all right. It's my mom's birthday today. That's why I was running a little late.
Are we done with the birthdays yet? There's been so many in the last couple weeks.
So Taylor and mine were the 20th, 29th. My mom's was tonight, and then the Brigida's her birthday is the 24th. So we're almost done. We're almost done with birthday season in this household.
Nice.
Almost.
What's going on, John? Hey, nerd. Yeah, Dave. There's a Scream sale this week. It's not amazing, but it's happening.
I can't wait. I love Scream Factory.
I think you
They're
should.
the best label.
Genuinely, you need to branch out. You do.
No.
I'm sorry they didn't release Lone Wolf and Cub.
Hey, okay, first off, I may need to branch out, but you need to finally watch the shit that you own that's not horror movies.
Excuse me? I don't watch only horror movies.
I'm just fucking with you.
You better be. What's going on, Foo?
What's going on, buddy? Happy birthday to my mom. Yeah, bitch is 52.
I'm sending her this link.
No, don't. I told it to her face. You don't have to.
You see what Nerd says? You need to branch out.
Nah, dude, I've tried to branch out, but it's just not for me. I feel like horror movies are like, I feel like you fall into one or two categories when it comes to horror movies. It's either like you love being scared and it doesn't scare me. So, no, I would say from what I hear, Scream Factory is probably better than Criterion.
They are, genuinely.
No, but like, I feel like if you're a horror movie fan, you fall into one or two categories. You either love it because you genuinely are scared, or you love it because of the kills or something like that. And it's just both of them I don't like. I'm not here to. I don't get scared.
See, I don't really get that though, because every time we talk about a horror movie that you just recently watched, you loved it. Like the last house we did was the Night House.
Great movie.
It's genuinely great.
But I think it's I don't know. I'm just weird. I want to be my autistic self and watch the same shit over and over again. So, but I am watching The Shield, and
it's true.
Almost done. I'm almost done. I'm halfway through season 6. Goddamn, you said season 4 was the best season, and I strongly disagree.
I think 4 and 5 back to back. If that was one season, it would be like the best thing ever in TV.
It's so weird because seasons 1, besides the season opening, besides the pilot, which is shocking, seasons 1 through 3 felt like just a standard, really well done police procedural, and then 4 completely changes things. And season 5, I'm a huge Forrest Whitaker fan. I just love him, and he is phenomenal as that character. So yeah, I loved season 5 quite a bit. Season 6 is pretty good so far. But I'm starting to feel myself get burnt out because it's all I've been watching is just binging. Right. And I've been watching a lot of TV. Like I finished all of Bosch, Longmire, and then now The Shield since November. So I've watched way too much television.
That's a lot, yeah.
It's a lot. So I mean, I got Hulu just for The Shield, and it looks like Justified's going to be next. on my to watch list. Um, but yeah, Vic Mackey is such a good character.
One of the best characters in TV history, genuinely.
And he, as a short king, he is a short king.
He is very short
He's
compared to a lot of people on that show. Yeah,
he gets the most ass out of any character. He is so in your face and abrasive. Doesn't care if the person's bigger than him or stronger than him. He's awesome. Yeah, and then Foo's been hyped up about Reacher. Have you seen it yet?
I've not. A lot of people are talking about Reacher right now, though.
Dude, that guy, I want to reach around and he's hot. Have you seen him?
Yeah, he is the guy that played young Scully on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. For anybody that has seen that,
he's just built different, man. He is
stacked. He's like the male version of stacked for sure.
Apparently, you see his pee-pee in this show. From what I heard, there's some full male frontal. I'm always down to see some cock.
Nice.
I'm actually more excited to see cock than I am tits whenever I watch that movie. You know what I mean? Like when that happened in Deadlock, I was like, wow.
All right.
Is that just me?
No, I mean it's novel, at least in the moment.
Because it never happens.
Right.
I wish guys would just let their junk show. Do you guys want to see my junk?
No, I think we're all right.
You guys don't know this, but last week off air. We talked for like another hour, and I was like, guys, I gotta take a shit. I just took the phone in the stand into the bathroom with me and took a shit talking to Ryan and our guests from last night. Let's go off Fanatical Dragon.
Hey, do you have any pickups this week you want to talk about?
I don't think I got anything this week, actually. I'm trying to think. No, I've been slowing down. I mean, some random Shaw Brothers stuff, but it's all the way over there, and I don't want to get up.
That makes sense.
And by all the way over there, 15 feet. I don't want to.
I put aside a couple things for the show. I got this really nice Reservoir Dogs steelbook in.
Nice.
I won this in the Waffle Group.
That's a beautiful group. What country is that?
It's from Nova Media, so it's Korea.
Korea. Nice.
Speaking of Korea, that was a really good transition. I got in Days.
Nice.
From Simon Liang. This is not Korean, I believe. I believe this is Japanese, actually. Or sorry, Taiwanese.
So why did you say, speaking of Korean?
Because all Asians are the same, right? That's what you told me last night.
You want to hear something really racist?
No.
Never mind.
No, I don't. I also
I can't believe you just said that.
We've been talking about this a lot on Twitter. Tenement. All That Is Man got everybody hyped up about this movie again. This is similar to Siege. I saw this years ago and realized I don't own the disc, so I wanted to get it. And it's a pretty decent disc. It's done by Roberta Findlay. Did you ever watch Siege? You said you were going to.
No, I ended up watching Kill List instead. And it took me 2 days to watch Kill List.
And you regretted that, yeah.
I hated that movie, man. First off, all the characters suck in that movie. There's a weird relationship with his friend and his wife that was just like,
yep.
And then, I fell asleep watching it, and then the next day I had to finish it. The ending, the twist is cool, but it's just like I was like, okay.
It's a pretty out of nowhere twist.
I mean, it's a cool twist. I just wish it was done by a better director. I don't think Ben Wheatley's good.
Oh wow, that's kind of a hot take. He's actually, I think he's pretty damn decent.
Every movie I've seen from him has been so forgettable. I can't even think of the name. The Duel in the Field or something. What else has he done?
A Field in England is the one you're thinking of.
Field in England? Yeah.
Yep.
British.
Nerd wants to know where I got Days. Days came out from Grasshopper Films. They just put this out, and it is going to have this real nice slipcase thing, but they had to ship that separately, so it's on the way.
Is Grasshopper new?
Not really. They were mostly doing DVDs for a long time, and I
just realized one of my favorite people in the world is watching Fu, and he's British, and I said British people suck. So I have to say, besides Fu and besides Fanatical Giant's Scottish. I would say I'm not British movies. I'm not too big on.
Don't you love British humor though?
I like The Office quite a
Well, and like Taskmaster, which is a lot
bit. And
of
Taskmaster's good. Yeah,
dry grating British
yeah.
awkwardness.
There's just I don't know. Besides Guy Ritchie, I haven't really seen too many directors from England that's blown me away.
You probably have, just not realizing that they're very
That's true.
British.
I didn't realize fucking Tom Holland was British. Everyone's British.
Yep.
So who knows?
I don't know if you've seen this one. This is one you may have actually seen. Shout Select put out a exclusive title on their website, and it is the Percy Adlin collection, the guy that did Baghdad Cafe. And kind of a cool thing that I grew up about 20 minutes from the Baghdad Cafe in the middle of the desert in California, and one of my closest friends' moms worked at the Baghdad Cafe, so I grew up going there, and they have pictures from when it was filmed and all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, really cool place. And then I got in a Kurosawa film that I didn't have somehow, and you're gonna get pissed as soon as I show it because it's not the Kurosawa you're thinking of. I got in Cure.
Whatever.
That was a great transition, and you know it. Damn it!
I was pretty pumped. I was like, Fu's actually been getting into samurais. He's been he didn't like Seven Samurai, which I'm confused about. I don't know how you can watch that movie now. But he liked Yojimbo quite a bit, and he liked Sword of Doom. So he's getting into it. Pretty awesome. I did get two things. I picked up two bootlegs. Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. So happy to have that. It's not the official Whole Bloody Affair, but it's the two movies stitched together with the uncensored Japanese cut of the Crazy 88 fights. I'll admit it, I may need to revisit Seven Samurai.
There is no official Whole Bloody Affair.
There is one.
He has shown one. It's not an official release anywhere, is what I'm getting.
Yeah, no. But I have not seen the movie uncensored, so I'm excited to see it. I also got Bandits versus Samurai Squadron. I had a DVD bootleg. I upgraded to a Blu-ray bootleg. Hideo Gosha film, one of the best samurai movies of all time. Really, I'm still blown away because for those you don't know, I took the time and really I made a list that I feel really happy about. 50 essential samurai movies, and I try to include the classics. Try to include some movies that nobody's ever heard of that are hidden gems. And Hideo Gosha, I think, has more movies on that list than anybody. Not because I tried to do it that way, it just happened.
Right.
And when I was like rewatching these movies, Three Outlaw Samurai is such a weird movie because I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it's very good compared to his other stuff. And it's always weird to me that Criterion picked that movie specifically. And besides it being his first, it's not special at all.
Well, and it was probably something with rights too. They are just similarly, they are just another boutique company.
Yeah. I know that Film Movement is putting out two Hideo Gosha films this year. No, three. They're putting out three. They're putting out two samurai movies and a Yakuza film. So excited about that. But yeah, he is just a masterful director. I think my top three, what I ranked as the greatest samurai movies of all time was Seven Samurai, Harakiri, which I think Seven Samurai is my favorite movie of all time. But Harakiri, I think, is an objectively perfect film. I don't think there's anything bad about that.
I also think nowadays Harakiri is actually sort of underappreciated.
It really is. It really, especially since Kobayashi did. Kwaidan gets a lot of praise. The Human Condition trilogy gets an insane amount of praise.
Yep.
But Harakiri is it's a masterful film. And then number 3 is Gyoken by Hideo Gosha, which I didn't even mean to do this when I was making the list. The same two people that duel, the main duel from Harakiri, is the final duel in Gyoken, like 9 years later. So
that's cool.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that. I was like, damn, all these actors were doing the same shit.
Sardis as saying that the 4K of Lynch's Dune will not play in his player. I just want to let everybody know, reminder that 4Ks are a lot more finicky than Blu-rays and DVDs were. So if there's anything on the disc or anything on the lens of the player, sometimes it won't work. Or the other big thing is they need updated firmware a lot of the time. But Lynch's Dune is not one that needed a replacement disc. It works fine on my player
It could just be that your player has really good taste in movies.
Yeah, Lynch's Dune is not great.
And it's like, what the fuck is this doing in here? Blech, just get it out.
I just spent $27, I think, to ship a copy of Lynch's Dune to Russia today. Somebody like really, they tried 3 times to get me to sell it to them. I'm like, you know what? Fine. If you pay for shipping, no big deal. But good Lord. That is...
Did I tell you what happened? So I bought Dragon a copy of Cinematic Vengeance, right? Because it was his birthday. And I've been trying to ship it to him. The post office wanted me to pay $80 to ship it to Scotland. $80.
Jeez.
So I said, fuck that. I just sent him $60 on PayPal. Said, go buy it. Order it through Amazon. I'm not. There's no way, dude. No way. I'm not doing that. So, but yeah. So he finally got his Cinematic Vengeance, and then he tracked down, because for those of you who don't know, me and Dragon are thinking we are going to do it. We're writing a book about the Venom mob, and he tracked down a copy for me of Chang Che's memoir in English. Him and his wife were able to find this book. Super out of print. I'm super excited to have it. But yeah, that's going to be one of the things that we're going to use as our source for writing books. So, but yeah, thank you so much, Dragon. I'm so pumped to have it. Or finally, whenever it comes. Hopefully, they don't charge you $80 to ship a book.
Other than TV, did you watch any films you wanted to talk about for this week?
Yeah, I don't know the name of this movie because it's in Japanese and never got an English translation or anything. But there's a guy that I'm friends with on this happened around my birthday. I follow him on Letterboxd. We ended up adding each other on Facebook, and he is like an expert of movies that are just anything but Yakuza films. Like, just loves Yakuza films.
Right.
Super knowledgeable. Like, he's knowledgeable like I am with like Lone Wolf and Co., but like as Yakuza films as a whole. And there's been a couple on my watch list on Letterboxd for a while that he's given 5 stars. He very rarely gives 5 stars. So and they have like 3 people have logged them. So
right.
I messaged him on Facebook, and I said, hey, do you have these movies? Could you send them my way? So he sent me one. I downloaded it. It's on my phone. It's like almost a 2-hour movie. And it is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And I'll try to remember the name for next week. But it's a really slow drama for the beginning of it. It's more of a modern one. I think it was in the 80s. So it's like 80s Tokyo, vibrant colors, that 80s gangster aesthetic in Tokyo, where they have like the suits, the slick back hair with the sunglasses at night, just dudes being dudes. And then the ending is just pure violence, and it's awesome. One of the best things I've seen in a long time is that movie.
Nice.
So I wish I could remember the name, but there's no English name. It's just a Japanese name. So yeah, there's a site. There's a site that he's a part of. They only do memberships every like couple months, and they vet new people. Unless you pay like $100, then you can get in. I don't want to pay $100 to get into a site, but it's people who just fan translate these lost Japanese films.
Wow.
So I'm kind of hoping I can get in next time. If he has any referrals, I can get in, but that's how he got them. So, and you also have to contribute when you join. So I have nothing to contribute. So,
yeah, you got to learn Japanese before they open it up.
Yeah, so I'm like, fuck. But yeah, that was a great movie. It's got I think it's got Bungo Sugarawa. I'm so bad with names.
A lot of syllables.
I'm not even gonna talk. But I did watch. Obviously, I watched the new 88 films releases. Got through all the special features and stuff. And man, like I said last week, and I've been saying for a while now, these Region A, Region B releases have felt like they just feel so special. They feel like big releases. They're loaded with special features. Love the slipcover. All Kung Fu Bob art. Just insane. I love this cover.
It's kind of a big deal. This is the first real foray for any boutique in the U.S. into that, and they did kind of beat Arrow to it a little bit.
They did. Yeah, the Chinese Boxer was 2 months before. Yeah, I mean, I think I think the lineup so far is great. Chinese Boxer, Disciples of Shaolin. This cover is just nuts.
That is the best by far.
and then Flag of Iron, and then man, 88 went on an announcement spree.
Yep, they do that every so often.
Holy crap, dude! Like things like Drive is getting a 4K, the better Drive. So I'm just blown away.
1997 Drive, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they look like they're gonna have a great year. And you made it a very good observation about the Ryan texted me and said, "Was it any Drive is circled?"
Hold on, I can actually share this. I had this ready because I'm going to go over this for my show on Thursday, so I've already got it ready. I noticed that 88 Films put out their sheet of initialisms that they were hyping up the rest of the year to see if anybody could guess, basically. And I noticed, if you look at this, that in the TBC here, under the first line, there's a D that is circled. And then there is 1, 2, 3, 5 other circles on this page. And it appears to me that if that was me guessing, I would guess that those 6 titles on this whole page that are circled are probably going to be in 4K. Now, if I am a betting man, I would say that at the bottom, CH is Cannibal Holocaust. Which
Can't wait
is
to see that.
Kind of a big deal. Z, not sure on this one. Edge might be House on the Edge of the Park, which Severin just put out. Not sure about that one, but very well could be. There are a handful of things that these other ones could be, but
do you want to pull up the announcements that they did? We can talk about since they're Asian focused.
I didn't know this was an Asian show now, but sure.
But you know, I mean, there's a couple horror movies in there too. You know what I mean? You know what I mean.
Let's see.
Okay, so
they announced the Species box set, and these have a ton of special features on all 4 of them. Then we got Zeter, which is also known as Revenge of the Dead.
What's that?
And then it's not. Whoops. I personally don't think it's a great film. It's all right, but it's a horror movie.
It's getting a slipcover?
Yeah. One thing to notice on these, if you do not see the like on this one, since you see the age rating, I believe this will be a Region B locked title. Anyone that does not have an age rating, I think will be both either the US and UK or just US. So if I was a betting man, that's what I would say, just like the 4Ks. Obviously, this is a big one. Hero, this is coming to the Asia line.
It's not the Jet Li Hero, guys.
And then we have Human
Lanterns,
which is
that artwork's great too, man.
The artwork is great, but this is also, I think, my most anticipated of all of these.
Have you ever seen it?
No, and just reading it makes me want to die to see it.
It's so good.
For anybody that hasn't read about this before, when an unbalanced craftsman decides to get revenge on 2 kung fu masters by creating special lanterns constructed from the human skin of their dead relatives, all hell breaks loose in this gruesome tale of bloody retribution. Taking its inspiration from movies like Psycho and real cases like Ed Gein, Human Lanterns is clearly not for the faint-hearted with its over-the-top gore and sadistic qualities, but this slice of darker-than-dark fantasy still manages to be both wonderfully horrible and impressively entertaining. I mean, how can you not want to watch that?
It's a great movie, and that looks amazing.
And yeah, Fu, I agree. ZH is probably going to be Zombie Holocaust. Sardis says I have too much time on my hands.
Not really. The dude's busy.
I'm always busy. Next one is Violent
City.
And this is slipcover coming from the Italian collection. But for those that don't want to import, this is also coming out from Kino. This already got announced.
Okay.
And then a big one.
Never seen this.
Romper Stomper from 92. I have seen it. I don't remember a whole lot about it because I was pretty young. But this is from 92. It's an Australian film. It's a gritty Australian urban thriller highlighting the danger of scapegoating and racial prejudice. With its skinhead protagonist and violent motif, the movie walks in the shadow of productions like Made in Britain and acted as a precursor to later work like American History X and This Is England. With Russell Crowe.
Is it good?
Yes. Next up, Stone. This is fairly by the book release from them.
What
No
is
big
that?
deal. It's a motorcycle movie, biker gang movie. Then another Jackie Chan title, Half a Loaf of Kung Fu, and this one is a super interesting cover. But if you see what this is,
I didn't like it at first, but then like the more I look at it, the more I like it. So
the only thing I don't love about it is Jackie's odd facial expression. But it's probably iconic to the movie itself. And also he is listed as accident prone, so it probably has something to do with that. Next up is Marshall Club.
Well, this was not big deal. This was not in their when they put out that list in October when they were announcing that or September. You remember when they were saying, "Hey, we're coming to the U.S." They had a big announcement. This one I don't think was behind there. If you can pull up 88 Films' Instagram, it's not that far down. Pull up that list because I don't think Marshall Club is on there, which is awesome that there's potentially more licenses than what they were showing because they showed off 12 titles. I could be wrong.
I don't see that being the only 12 titles they got at all.
No, but like I was thinking, okay, those 12 titles that'll last us the next year or year and a half, 2 years. It was okay. So Dragon saying it was hidden in the back.
Yeah, it's
I want to see that list. It is okay.
Yeah.
But Lark Harlung, correct?
Yes.
Lark Harlung. Yep. Which is Dragon's favorite director.
Yeah. Next up, we got Zone Troopers. I don't know anything about this one. Science fiction, Nazi exploitation. I don't remember this movie at all. It's from '85, and it's an MGM title, so I may have seen it, but I don't remember it at all. Mardi Gras Massacre. This is also coming out from Severin. They haven't announced this yet, but it is coming from Severin. So if you don't want to import, it's going to be the same as the other one that they just did and Severin did. So, yeah. And then
this is the one I was most excited about because I have a bootleg that's really crappy, extremely crappy. It's very hard to see, and this is one of the. I think this is the only film that Jimmy Wang Yu and Jackie Chan did together, and Jackie Chan's a villain in this movie. Like it's a pretty serious movie. So I'm very happy that this is finally getting released.
So that's why this is such a big deal is the cast. We got Jimmy Wang Yu and Jackie Chan together, known as Killer Meteors.
And Jackie Chan's a villain, which never happens. And then this
is a big one. The Seventh Curse, coming with a slip and everything. This actually looks like it'll probably be one of those deluxe limited edition boxes.
Oh, maybe it could be, yeah.
Because if you look, it does not just look like a slip; it looks a little bigger.
Yeah.
So this is from '86, Adventurous Story of Lost Tribes and Deadly Magic, and Drive in 4K. This was their last one. So this is their first 4K title ever, and MVD Rewind. Well, MVD is also going to be putting this out in 4K later this year as well.
MVD. Dragon says Marshall Club is Lark Harlung's other Wong Fei Hung movie. Excellent lion dancing and an incredible Gordon Liu versus Wang Lu Wei fight down an ever narrowing alley. Essential. So is it in there? Where's it at?
Right there, back left, fourth one from the left.
Oh shit! All right, so we know. Okay, so far that has an announcement. Everything has a date, I think, except for Flying Guillotine 2, maybe? Because we know Mantis and Monkey Kung Fu have had their covers revealed. So, so those have to be soon. But yeah, those 12 titles, excellent picks. Excellent picks.
Well, you want to get into our actual show? Oh, wait, I didn't talk about what I watched this week, and I actually genuinely watched quite a lot. For me, usually there's only like one to talk about. First off, last week, still have COVID cough. Sorry. I finally watched Last Night in Soho. Did we talk about that last week? I don't think so.
No, is it good?
I loved it. It is not my favorite Edgar Wright, but it was so fun. Art design in that movie is great. The sound is great. One of the things that I love the most is he has some of the best camera movements in all of cinema, like compared to everyone. He has some magical ways to film people. There's a few dancing scenes, and it is masterfully caught in the lens. Beyond that, one of the best things about this is that it's not a time travel movie, but it's like a nostalgia based movie. A lot of it is based in the 60s and contemporary. So they're comparing then and now. And the big thing is that a lot of people look back with nostalgia and think that it's this perfect time. And this shows the good side of it, but also that a lot of it was bad. And it really juxtaposes it nicely. Really wonderfully acted, good story, nice twist. I don't want to twist anything, but one of the main antagonists of the film, it was her last film ever, and she kind of killed the role. So it was great.
Betty White?
No. But yeah, really well done. Absolutely loved it. Again, Edgar Wright kills the music. No matter what film he does, the music is just impeccable. Highly suggest watching that one.
I'm excited to see it.
Rewatched the first Harry Potter film with my kids. It does not hold up as good as the rest. It is rough. First of all, I remember being more impressed with the CGI, and it is bad. The CGI in that movie is really not great. Other big one, Saturday, I went out to the theater and saw Jackass Forever.
Is it good?
Fucking amazing. It was
really?
So nice. Yeah, it was so nice to see everybody out on the screen and doing what they do best again. Granted, like Knoxville only did like 2 or 3 main stunts, but he got the shit kicked out of him hard in them, like got hurt each time.
Tell me about the bear scene. Does a bear really eat honey and salmon?
And it's not restrained at all.
Jesus.
The way they tease that in the previews, it looked like, oh yeah, this guy's coming into the room. They'll have something around its neck and they'll be able to pull it back. It is not restrained. They just let it free into the room, and it goes places. Like nobody dies or anything like that, but it is crazy. Like that is one of the craziest things that I've ever seen them do. I left very happy, but the odd thing is the credits started and I went, that movie was like 65, 70 minutes long. That sucks. And I looked at my phone and I went, oh no, that was a 90-minute movie. So it goes by very quickly. Supposedly they have enough footage for one of the classic like Jackass 4.5s that they did for the first few. This is getting a Blu-ray release, so hopefully that leads to a Blu-ray release of the others, which would be fantastic.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Dunn. Welcome to Drinking and Driving and Killing Your Best Friend.
There is a tribute to him in this movie at the very end. So
dude,
that was nice.
I love that Ryan Dunn's last tweet was like, I'm fucked up and driving. And then he died.
It's so callous, but it's true.
Hey guys, this is Bam. This is sticking Wee Man in Phil's ass. Oh, come on, Bam. You know I don't like when you put a midget in my ass.
I think that you watched this one, so we can talk about it a little bit. But I don't really want to spoil anything because it's so new. I watched The Power of the Dog.
Yeah.
You saw it, right?
Yeah, it's pretty gay. In a great way. Because he's gay.
Yeah.
Okay. The scene with the handkerchief. This is all. I'm going to be as vague as possible. The scene with the handkerchief. Don't you think it was a little bit... Like it showed its hand a little too much there, because I felt like if they would have taken the name off of it and just let it there, like let it just be there, no indication to who it belonged to, and you figured it out yourself, it would have been a more impactful scene.
To a point, but I think I have very different feelings than you. I kind of hated the movie overall.
Whoa! Why?
Well, first of all, masterfully directed, absolutely beautiful. The shots in that film, I've never seen anything like that. It looked incredible. Second, the acting, Cumberbatch was decent. What
about Fat Matt Damon?
He's
Jesse. He's so good.
I love him, but he was not really in it that much. And that obviously that's part of the plot, is that he's away and somebody gets antagonized based on that. But when he was in it, he was good, but a little distracting. Kirsten Dunst, decent. Not amazing, but decent.
Not a Kirsten Dunst fan.
But the kid really did kill his role. He did great in it. Cumberbatch genuinely did really great with a lot of his scenes. However, it was like 75 minutes too long. The story did not need that. There was only a couple scenes that really ramped up the tension. Otherwise, it was just a lot of like whiny bitches. And I don't know. It just didn't hit with me. I understand the technical prowess behind it, but man, I just straight regret watching it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn. I liked it a lot, but Cumberbatch is just such a shitty person in that movie. It's just, he's like a slimy, I don't know, he's just a bad dude. And I like seeing him in that role. I think he plays that role exceptionally well. And like you said,
go ahead.
It's just beautiful. Beautiful to look at.
The main thing
but I have no desire to go back to it. And I can rewatch stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to see it again.
The main thing I loved about it is at the very end when Cumberbatch gets his sort of comeuppance, I genuinely felt conflicted. I by that point I had started to come around to him, and I genuinely felt sorry for him a little bit. But it was not something that I ever see watching again.
Power of the Dog's getting a 4K?
That's not announced yet.
Oh, gotta be buying that movie. And someone said they like my beard. Guys, enjoy me looking like shit for the rest of the week, because next week I will have a professional haircut and beard trim. And I will show you just how beautiful I really am underneath this. So.
By the way, Skolder came in. What's going on, Skolder?
You're my favorite character from X-Files.
Do you think we should get into our topic for the week?
Yeah, I couldn't pick 5. I'm sure as we're talking, I'll be able to think of one. Think of a couple, but we've got this topic.
We lost you at the end of that phrase there. What was that?
We got this topic on such short notice.
Yeah.
It was like, we were like, what are we doing? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want?
It's been a weird couple of weeks, but I think we're
back. We've had for those of you who don't know, I mean, I don't know if there's too much information. Last Sunday. You
don't have to share it.
I mean, you guys have watched me almost have a heart attack on stream, so
that's true.
Last Sunday, not this past Sunday, but the week before, I was at work. Everything's fine. My left testicle swelled, and I'm talking severe pain, like pain where I am getting the wind knocked out of me. Pain. Could barely stand. Had to work. Went to the doctor. I forget if it was Monday or Tuesday, but went to the doctor as soon as they could get me in. I think it was Tuesday. Because Monday I was off and I was just resting. Because I mean, literally, if I got up to move, it was just excruciating. So I go in Tuesday. He says that there's some inflammation. He gives me some medicine, which took the pain away, but still worked all week, still in severe pain. I went yesterday and got a sonogram done, which was awkward. It was a woman. You know what I mean? It was just like, she was like, hey, get naked. And I was like, so like a dumbass, I like started to take off my hoodie. She's like, no, just your pants. And I was like, oh. Okay. So I take my pants off. They do the sonogram, which by the way, that jelly that they use for sonograms is so hard to get off. I had to take like an hour shower, just scrub it down. We were supposed to wait for the results. We waited for like 2 hours. Nothing. Doctor didn't read it. They were like, you guys can just go home. We'll call you tomorrow, which is today. Taylor woke me up about 11 because I was up all night. She woke me up about 11 and said, hey, did the doctors call you? Check my phone. Nothing. So Taylor called them and they were like, yeah, he hasn't read them yet. Went and ran some errands, had to get an oil change because our oil was at 5%. And then when I came home, before we went to my mom's house, she was writing down what it was. And what it is that I have the veins that go from my blood supply to my testicle, my left one, are basically like, I don't know. It's basically like varicose veins, but in your balls, but they are harmful. So like, if you have a varicose veins, like I have some in my leg, they are harmful. This is harmful because it's going to cause you severe pain. It causes low sperm production, infertility, which would explain why my wife bad sperm, like your sperm quality is not good, which would explain why my wife and I can't conceive another child. And yeah, it's either I'm going to have surgery to fix it, which I have to. We're setting up a meeting. The urologist, I think is what it's called, is going to call us this week to set up an appointment ASAP to discuss what we're going to do, because it's either surgery, potentially losing the nut, or living with the pain. So, but yeah, definitely not a good day. When I heard infertility, I broke down and cried like a bitch, but then I fucking pushed that down because I'm not a woman. I'm a man, and I did not cry. I do not cry. I'm just kidding. I cried like a bitch. I was sobbing. So yeah, today's been fun, and I'm in severe pain right now, like so much pain. So sorry to be a ball buster, guys. Let's go ahead and.
So you didn't pick 5. Did you pick any specific, or should I just get started?
Yeah, I want to talk about one in particular, a Takashi Miike film, Harakiri, because Death of a Samurai. It's got a tagline. It's not a direct remake of the Kobayashi film, but that movie, I think he filmed it before 13 Assassins, but then 13, like literally, he filmed them back to back, whichever way it was. But 13 Assassins came out first. I think people were so blown away by that movie and expected something along those lines of Harakiri. And Harakiri is not an action movie. It is a serious film. And I feel like if Harakiri would have came out first, the buzz for it would have been much stronger than 13 Assassins. I think it's a far better movie than 13 Assassins. I think Harakiri shows that Miike can. I mean, he has done serious movies, but there's always like a Miike moment. Yeah, Imprint's fucking great. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. That needs a Blu-ray. That's a great movie. But yeah, I feel like every movie of Miike has a Miike moment. You know, especially recently, like not True Romance. First Love has that car scene where it just goes into 3D animation. 13 Assassins is pretty serious for the most part until the guy blows himself up and it rains body parts and blood. But Harakiri is like such a serious film. It's a slow film. It doesn't feel like a Miike movie at all. And I think it's underrated. I think people don't show it as much love as it deserves because 13 Assassins came out first. And that's my number one.
You said you couldn't pick 5. I actually have 6, of course, when I said we were only going to pick 5. So I had to go one over. I also, most of mine, 5 out of my 6 are very mainstream films. The first one is Dr. Sleep. When Stephen King randomly wrote a sequel to The Shining decades later, I thought it was going to be shit. I thought that the movie was going to be awful. But they got Flanagan to direct, and Mike Flanagan is brilliant. And this movie, I don't want to say it has flown under the radar because, again, a lot of these are mainstream. So, yes, a lot of people have seen these, but they are not like super highly regarded as great movies for the most part. And this movie is amazing. This is one of those direct sequels from a classic movie that should not work, and it truly does. I mean, you've got grown-up Danny Torrance from The Shining out and about. You have this B storyline.
Is it the same actor?
No. It is. I don't know if you can tell from looking at that. It is Ewan McGregor.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. He's great as Danny Torrance. It is really well acted. They do the same thing like they did in Halloween Kills and a handful of other movies where they take the old scenes from a movie that they're going to either try to play homage to or they're going to literally redo, and they refilm it. And it is done so beautifully. It is almost like this looks like the original movie, just done again. It's so perfect. And then they add on to the story in such a way that actually makes it work. And when you think of something like The Shining that so many people have held near and dear for decades, and you would just think anything that they do to expand that is going to taint it, and it doesn't. All it does is makes it more interesting. Oddly enough, I watched that and immediately had to go watch The Shining after, just to like dive into more of the story again, because it made me want to. It was so well done. And Mike Flanagan, again, probably the best mainstream horror director out right now by
What else
a
has he done?
long shot. He did The Haunting of Hill House, Blind Manor. He did
Okay, yeah.
Midnight Mass,
Taylor's
Oculus.
made me watch those things. Those are good. I can tolerate them.
Yeah. Do you happen to have another choice, or should I?
I do. Silence by Martin Scorsese. I think that's one of his best movies. You know, he does. What's that saying? You make one for them, you make one for yourself, or whatever.
Yep.
That feels like he was, it was a personal pet project of his, passion project. I like his religious movies because you can tell he is a religious guy. He's Catholic. But you could tell he has questions, he has doubts, and that comes through his films very well. I think the Last Temptation of Christ does that extremely well. But this movie, I'm not a big Andrew Garfield fan. We've talked about this. I don't like him. He is phenomenal in this movie. Liam Neeson, great in this movie. And even I think it was 2011. Like Adam Driver wasn't like a household name back then, and he is so good in this movie. For those of you who don't know, it's about which in real life, Andrew Garfield's character was a Sicilian priest. He's from where my family's from. There's a couple of Sicilian priests who traveled to Japan to spread Christianity, and Japan was like, "Oh no, you will not get that off," and they tortured him, tortured all the Christians in horrible ways. And it's got Shinya Tsukamoto, the director.
Can I blow your mind a little bit before you dive into this? This came out in 2016.
Oh my God, that feels like a 2011 movie.
Yeah,
it feels like it's so long ago.
Adam Driver was already Kylo Ren by then.
Really? Oh man, damn. Maybe it wasn't as long ago. I mean, it feels like forever. But Shinya Tsukamoto, he's gonna be on this list again. But I obviously love his directing, but he is such a good actor, like phenomenal actor. And what they did was they would take the Christians and they would put them on a cross and they would put them in the ocean, and they would, as the tide rolled in, they would slowly drown. And it's brutal, some of the torture sequences in the movie, but highly recommend Silence. It's it's probably top 3 Scorsese's for me.
Wow.
So if we ever do a bottom 3, top 3 of Scorsese,
and we will.
Scorsese, we will. Silence is up there.
Awesome. One that I wanted to highlight, and you'll notice many of these are all over the place genre-wise. I think that one of the most refreshing comedies that I've seen in the last decade was Booksmart. Directed by Olivia Wilde and starring from a show you're about to see, Justified. This individual is great in Justified. Her name, what is her name? Caitlin Dever, and then this is Beanie Feldstein. I believe this is Jonah Hill's sister, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
This is a one night party movie, basically, where everything happens in the span of one night. It's very much like a female Superbad type of film, and it is done with that same style of raunchy humor, but in I don't want to use the same classic film Twitter word of like in an elevated way, but it feels sort of like that, where it's a lot more meaningful rather than just Superbad. It was just two guys really just riffing off each other all night, and they certainly do that in this, but it feels more emotional and like something that you're actually invested in. And
text me the name of that so I can remember that.
You got it. Genuinely very funny. Really well acted cast. Jason Sudeikis is in it. Obviously, he's married to Olivia Wilde, so that played a part of that. It is just really, really great. I genuinely don't hear enough people talking about it, and I don't get why. It came out of nowhere, and it did really well.
Fusan is another comedy by 2 female leads called Plan B.
Didn't that just came out?
I'm not sure.
Came out. I think that just came out very recently. Let me see.
I don't believe in birth control, so
You shouldn't be Catholic.
I shouldn't be Catholic.
Plan B is 2021.
Damn. My next pick is a Shinya Tsukamoto movie, The Killing. I love him. I think he's a great director. I'd not heard of that movie until the box set came out. I've looked up reviews. Not that many reviews out there. And it's like an anti-samurai movie. It's a movie set in the samurai period, starring Shinya Tsukamoto, written by him, directed by him. He's co-starring in the movie, and it's such a weird film because it's like a lot of his other works. Unlike a lot of his other works, it feels more grounded, which it is, until a certain thing happens. Can you guys hear the kiddo laughing? Yeah, she should be asleep, but she sounds like they're having a party there. Hey, you two, keep it down. No, you hear the no. She's so cute, but yeah. So The Killing is a samurai movie about a guy, like a Ronin wandering, and he goes into a village where there are like some bad Ronin nearby doing some shit to him. Kind of like a low scale Seven Samurai type story. You know, a guy's got to teach these villagers how to defend themselves. Shinya Tsukamoto is in the movie as well, and it has this. I think the thing I really appreciate about it is it has this. And I've been noticing a lot with movies, and it's like a thing that I'm like obsessed with right now is color grading to movies. For some reason, I'm like obsessed with it. I think The Raid has a really good color grading look to it. I think this movie has a really good color grading to it because there's a lot of it shot in this forest, and it's got this tone to it that I think is just great. It looks great. But there's a scene where a big fight happens, and Shinya Tsukamoto does a signature camera shake stuff, and it's honestly makes you want to throw up. So it's like fun. But yeah, I highly recommend The Silence. I don't think it's got a standalone in the US. I think Third Window did a standalone in the UK because they did. I think they put out pretty much what the Arrow box set was,
Yes.
but standalone titles. You can't go wrong with Shinya Tsukamoto. You can pick any of his Nightmare Detective. I think that was the 2000s as well. That 1 and 2. You could could recommend that. But yeah, he's phenomenal. But I'm starting to like him more as an actor. He's got such a cool look to him, and he's just I don't know. He's great. He's also in Dead or Alive 2, which I recently watched at the tail end of last year. He plays like a frumpy, like hilarious dude in that movie. He's awesome. Shinya Tsukamoto's the GOAT. He really is. He is the GOAT.
All right. My third one. I'm gonna move this around a little bit. My third one. Let me make sure I get the country right here. So I believe this is not a Mexican film, but it was filmed in Mexico. This is what I think is one of the best horror debuts ever, and that is Tigers Are Not Afraid. Did you ever see this? Because I think we talked about this before.
No, I have not seen that. That's a good name, though.
It is a great name. To show what this is, a haunting horror fairy tale set against the backdrop of Mexico's devastating drug wars. Tigers Are Not Afraid follows a group of orphan children armed with 3 magical wishes, running from the ghosts that haunt them and the cartel that murdered their parents. Filmmaker Issa Lopez creates a world that recalls the early films of Guillermo del Toro, imbued with her own gritty urban spin on magical realism to conjure a wholly unique experience that audiences will soon not forget. And this movie, genuinely chilling, and not in like a scary sense necessarily, but emotionally attached to the characters from like scene 1. Genuinely, you are following this movie where it is just kids running around through cartel devastated Mexico, and you see these. I hate to use the word supernatural here, but they are supernatural. You're essentially seeing spirits, but it is done in a way with things like this on the back cover of the steelbook here. It is oddly charming and very fairy tale like, and it is, you know, the Guillermo del Toro comparison there is very apt. It makes you feel like that sense of wonder that you would feel like with the Pan's Labyrinth, where you come out and say, I know this wasn't real, but I felt so connected to this movie that I felt invested in every single thing, and everything felt real to me, and I can see what those kids felt. And it's insane. It is so well made, really well acted, done very inexpensive, but not in a way that you can tell. And it is just super unique.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Trying to think now. Trying to think here. What should my next pick be? Because
We got a couple comments that we can go on while you think. So Fu says, I always thought The World's End was underappreciated. I think I prefer it to Hot Fuzz. I will say, Fu, I agree with you, and it seems to be a hot take. I think The World's End is the best of the Cornetto trilogy nowadays. I think that is the best acted. I think it is the tightest script, and I think it genuinely is Edgar Wright at his finest in those three films. And Nerd brought up Thoroughbreds with Olivia Cooke and Anya Taylor-Joy, and if I remember right, I believe Anton Yelchin is also in that. And that is, first off, incredible cast, but second, really well done movie. Absolutely loved it. Jeff says, who released that? Talking about Tigers Not Afraid. That is from RLJE. They put that out around the same time that they did the Mandy Steelbook and the One Cut of the Dead Steelbook. And Dustin has never heard of it. Fu thinks that Tigers Not Afraid is superb. Have I tried to drink along with them at World's End? No, I have not, because I would die. But also, I don't love beer, and so it makes drinking along with things like that impossible, because I would be sauced immediately because it'd be a vodka.
I don't like alcohol. But I don't
think we've ever talked about that. How do you drink often? Ever?
I don't drink at all. No. I've been drunk maybe 5 times in my whole life.
I've never been drunk, for sure.
I don't like it. I'm a lightweight. I literally had one Long Island on my 21st birthday, was 400 pounds, and was fucking obliterated.
My dad was a hardcore alcoholic, so I
was my dad.
I never tried alcohol till I was 25.
My dad used to be an alcoholic, and then he quit cold turkey. So, but he was never like a mean, abusive drunk. He was really happy. He was just a really happy guy.
John says I drink because I'm divorced. Let's see. Stendhal says The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford was my favorite modern Western for a while. Superb movie. And then Sardis says Songs from the Second Floor by Roy Anderson. I don't think I've seen that one.
Dude, Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Such a good movie. Is that underrated?
Oh yeah. I don't think that there is enough talk, especially nowadays.
You know, it's a really good Western that's modern. God, I'm trying to think of he's usually an actor. He's in what's that called? God, I'm having such a brain fart.
Sounds like your watch is going off.
It's my kid's watch. I don't know where it's at. It's in her bucket of toys. I'm sorry. It'll stop eventually.
Someday.
Who's God damn it, dude? Why am I having such a brain fart today?
Boo says another good one is The Proposition. That's an Australian Western.
That's the closest thing we're gonna get to a Blood Meridian movie.
BFI is putting out The Proposition in 4K.
Dude, that movie's so fucking good. God, I'm almost there with his name. It's 3 Burials for Esmeralda, I think is what it's 3 Burials for Esmeralda. It's directed by God help me out here.
3 Burials. The 3 Burials of Melquiades Estrada?
Yes, that's what it is.
With Tommy Lee Jones and Barry
Tommy Lee Jones, yes. Yeah, that movie is great. Underrated.
I've never seen this. Dwight Yoakam is in it. Yikes.
What, you don't like Dwight Yoakam?
Oh, God, I hate him.
Why? What?
I can't stand his voice.
Is he in Sling Blade?
Oh, God, it's been years since I've seen Sling
Blade. He's the country singer in Sling Blade, right? Because there's a country singer in that movie.
Yeah, it's either him or Randy Travis, maybe?
It's not Randy Travis.
Okay, it's again been years.
Mm-hmm. French fried taters. Such a
I
good
used to do
movie,
that
dude.
voice all the time.
Dude, whenever some certain people call at the restaurant, I'll do voices if I'm feeling like they're cool. I've got $10 on Ryan mentioning The Nightingale.
I talk about it too much. I'm not going to mention that tonight. Come on,
dude. If Lone Wolf and Cub, if Justin Lin, is it Justin Lin, the horror director? If he, who's the director? Yeah, Justin Lin, right?
Of what?
Dude, I'm having brain fog. The director. Who's the director of the Saw movie? The first one.
Oh, James Wan.
James Wan. James Wan was supposed to direct a Lone Wolf and Cub adaptation.
Oh,
in
interesting.
Like the mid 2000s, never went through. I would like to see that. Who would you cast?
I
got it. Hiroyuki Sanada as Ogami Ito. Perfect. Keanu Reeves as the Cub. As Daigoro. I think Hiroyuki Sanada is incredible. Yeah, I think it'd be great. But yeah, James Wan was supposed to do that. He was supposed to do a Hollywood adaptation.
Interesting.
Which would have been probably absolute shit. But
I mean, James Wan is very good at what he does. I mean, even like Aquaman was not amazing, but it was pretty well not acted. It was pretty well directed.
If that project does come to light, it might be a blessing that it waited so long, because I feel like Hollywood would have whitewashed that movie 10 years ago. But now I feel like they would, especially with Shang-Chi doing so well, Crazy Rich Asians doing so well, they probably would have, they'll probably take a chance with Asian-led actors.
I could see that, yeah.
But yeah, my next pick, Miyamoto Musashi, 2014. I believe it was a made-for-TV movie, but it's the same team behind the Rurouni Kenshin movies, the live action, and it's got the same fight choreography. It's crazy, over the top, very anime at times, but it's really well done. Not the best Musashi story. Musashi seems to be the like Wong Fei-hun of Japan. Like there's hundreds of movies about him, and most of them are pretty solid. But yeah, I would really recommend you guys tracking that down. It doesn't have a Ryan Reynolds as Ogami Ito.
I was gonna wait till you were done talking about this one to highlight that.
Oh my god, dude, that hurts my brain. Who's all right? Because Thomas Abreu Wakayama was kind of portly. Who's a portly actor that is probably like strangely nimble? Because you would have to, you know what I mean? Like who's Benedict Wong?
He's portly and strangely nimble. I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Farley. We need to resurrect him. You live in a baby cart down by the river. I thought that was good. Fuck you, Ryan. I thought that was good. You. Fucking motherfucker. Sammo Hung, a Chinese man playing a Japanese man. That would be a big no-no.
Oh, that is the right answer there.
Don't you? No. Jonah Hill.
No.
You don't think Jonah Hill could play? I think
he could pull it off for the most part, but I don't think he's got the nimble part of it.
Even though I just shat on someone doing Chinese, Don Lee. Oh my god, he's my celebrity crush. I love Don Lee. He is fucking. He's so perfect. He's in the Eternals. Great.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miyamoto Musashi. Watch it. Great. 2014. Great movie.
My next, I think this is 2019. Yeah, 2019. With what I think is one of the best dramatic actors nowadays, with Sterling K. Brown, another A24 film that I just love to talk about all the time. Waves. Waves is a movie that is very emotional driven, and it is a movie that perfectly ramps up tension, but in a very non-traditional way. So the climax of this movie is actually about 2/3 of the way through, and it allows you to really grip into this movie in a way that you don't expect to at first. And then the last third of the film you just kind of end up catching your breath. And it is really oddly paced for a film, but it's nice because you leave in sort of a way that feels like I went through a whole experience rather than leaving really ramped up. So it's like the cinematic equivalent of not having blue balls. It is nice because that everything releases about 2/3 through, and then you just got the calm down period. Waves is superbly acted. Other than Sterling K. Brown, the other guy, what is his name? Lucas Hedges kills it in this movie. There is some really good dramatic acting from everybody involved. What is the brother's name? Kelvin Harrison Jr. He plays the teenage son of this Sterling K. Brown, and absolutely just ridiculously jacked, like 17-year-old kid that you would be scared to death of. And because of that, something happens, and he has a really bad experience and ends up going through a lot of traumatic things. And it's just superbly acted, really relatable for people growing up nowadays. A lot of the similar like A24 style coming of age film, but this one is not necessarily full coming of age, just more of like a year in the life of a teenager kind of feeling. But it's different. It's very unique, and the tone and pacing of it is really something that sets it apart, and not something that you find that sets a lot of movies apart.
You know, it sets another movie that sets itself apart from another. It's also an A24 movie. A Prayer Before Dawn. Have you ever seen this movie?
No.
Great film. I think it's Joe Cole. It's the actor from Peaky Blinders and Gangs of London. I think Wind River was too.
It is.
That's on Netflix, by the way. Everyone go watch that. Great.
Yep.
But yeah, Prayer Before Dawn is based on a true story of a guy who is in a Thailand prison, I believe. I believe it's set in Thailand. And they have illegal boxing in the prisons, and you can potentially win your freedom. And it's a true story, and it's great. It is brutal, and it's oddly claustrophobic because of how small the prisons are. So I recommend you guys pick that up. Very underlooked, underappreciated A24. Do you say A24 or A24?
A24. I don't want to overwhelm with just A24, so I'll save my last one till the end. But first, I want to talk about one that I think that we've kind of mentioned on here before. I think genuinely one of the best comedic duos of the last 20 years, which they don't get enough love for. But that is Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling in The Nice Guys. This movie is so damn good. Literally one of the best buddy cop movies of all time. And so few people have seen this because it looks as if it's something just super cliche, Lethal Weapon, but done poorly type of film. And it's so well acted. Ryan Gosling can suck sometimes, but he is great in this.
Why?
A lot of people just feel a little oversaturated with the Ryans.
I mean, I'll talk about it in a second.
And then Russell Crowe. I know a lot of people hate Russell Crowe. I think I honestly don't like him in most things. I think this is his best role.
Gladiator?
Honestly, I don't love it. I think that
A Beautiful Mind?
That is one that genuinely is up there for me. But Gladiator, like I think he is better in this than in Gladiator.
Dude, Gladiator is a good movie.
The Nice Guys has some wild situations. I mean, some hilarious action set pieces, random like car jumping over a hill in the Hollywood Hills, and then naked woman getting out of the pool or whatever in the opening scene. It's so damn funny. Ryan Gosling really puts everything into this movie, and it shows. It is so perfect.
Wait, why don't people like Gosling's style of acting? I'm confused.
Not that they don't like his style of acting, that the field was oversaturated with him and Ryan Reynolds, that they were so popular immediately out of the gate that they were cast in everything. So
I
people just
can't
got
stand Ryan
tired.
Reynolds. Or not, yeah, Reynolds. I can't stand. Cannot stand it. Gosling, I like. Gosling seems to take more arty projects. Drive, Only
Oh yeah,
God
for sure.
Forgives. A Place Beyond the Pines is a super underrated.
Yep, it really is.
Fu was talking about Ben Wheatley Free Fire. You've talked about that movie.
Yep,
You like
Free
it.
Fire's really good. Another one that is like a, I don't even know what the word used for it. It's like a real time movie. It basically, the length of the film is the length of what happens on screen, and there's a little tiny short introduction, and then like a 67-minute shootout scene, and then a little epilogue, and that's it. But yeah, really well done. Really good cast in that film. Yeah, loved it.
I'm torn between this next pick because I think it might be my last. But I'm gonna go with Ashura, which is a Korean movie, and it is basically take Vic Mackey from The Shield, bad cop, crank it to 11, make him Korean, and make him even more deadly. Great film. It literally like I've said this before on the show that Korean crime cinema feels like old school Yakuza films, feels like old school Hong Kong movies. This movie combines those two feels into one of the most explosive, amazing, masculine movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I highly recommend you watch it. It's got I don't even know if it's official. It looks official, but it's a region free Blu-ray, and it's got subtitles, English subtitles. It's great.
Interesting. I kind of want to see that one. My last one is one that made me love an actor and a pair of directors. And I did say that this was an A24 film, and this might be, I think this is the one that got me collecting theirs physically, because a lot of A24, they were, streamable for day one. They were things that you happen to see elsewhere. They were big deals, but this is one that didn't get a lot of love everywhere else. And I think it deserves a lot more attention, especially after everybody loved Uncut Gems. And that is Good Time. Pattinson is fucking amazing in this movie.
Incredible.
The Safdie brothers just directed the hell out of this film. You thought Uncut Gems was tense. I think that this is equally as tense, and in some scenes a lot more intense. One of the Safdie brothers acts in this film, and he's amazing in it. Yeah, not a whole lot to say here other than Pattinson really made like a career-defining change to be in this film and came out of nowhere, guns ablaze, and just killed this role. He takes certain scenes, chews them up, and spits them out. He is fantastic in every single scene in this.
Also, I feel like it's a sadder movie than Uncut Gems because the characters have to live with their consequences.
Yep.
Such a good movie.
Yep. I love this movie. But that's all.
One more I'll say just real quick. True Legend, Yu Woon Ping movie. I think it gets shit on, but I think it's one of the most fun kung fu movies. Modern kung fu movies. I think modern kung fu movies usually suck ass. But it's fantastic. Highly recommend.
Did you have any other honorable mentions like we normally do?
Stendhal brought up Standoff at Sparrow Creek. I talked about this when I first watched it. Loved it. Was really, really blown away by it.
Nice. I, of course, had a handful. I wanted to bring these up real quick. Kid Detective, I mentioned this on here previously, but Kid Detective is an adult version of like the Hardy Boys and Encyclopedia Browns type of stories that a lot of us that are around this generation used to read when we were kids, but done in a way that's real and authentic and has good modern language, and one of the few films that I gave a 5-star rating to that I stand by. Next, I thought about this one, and I thought that this was underrated at first, but I don't know how much it's talked about outside of film circles. Children of Men. Children of Men is literally one of the best films of the last 50 years. I cannot believe that so few people have seen that film. obviously the tracking shot that everybody knows and loves in the car scene and that, but the overall acting in that movie is just amazing, harrowing the way that they filmed that, with a lot of that done practically all in the lens. Don't think we've ever talked about this one before. Have you ever seen Sorry to Bother You? Sorry to Bother You has the guy that plays Darius in Atlanta. He was also in Get Out at the very beginning, and he is the main character in this film, and it goes to some of the weirdest places that you will ever see in any film. It is genuinely one of the most unique modern films that I've ever seen, and it is perfect. It is so off the wall at the very end of that movie that you just can't believe that you're watching that type of film. It is stupid at the end. It's great. Another one that is like Tigers Not Afraid is Terrified. I believe that one is from like Venezuela or something like that. It is a really great supernatural horror film, really done in a spiritual sense. We were talking about religion earlier and how that plays into a lot of that, and it's just wonderfully acted. A couple really chilling scenes. I think the last one I will talk about, other than one of my favorite films of all time, Green Room. Everybody needs to see Green Room. Thank you, Fu. Fu says Terrified is Argentina. The last one I want to bring up, Logan fucking Lucky, is one of the best heist films of the last.
Yeah, the one with Daniel Craig, right?
Yes.
Daniel Craig plays a hick.
Yes.
Which is incredible.
Channing Tatum, amazing in that movie. Everything about that movie is great. Super, super tight script. One of the best written movies of the last by far. Logan Lucky was great. And that is what I would say.
I think for me, someone's saying Bone Tomahawk. I think Bone Tomahawk gets a lot of love by people. I think Nightcrawler did too. I had something in my mind and then I had a brain fart again. So, Park Chan-wook's The Cure, the vampire movie. I think it's overlooked. I think that came out right before Handmaiden. I think before Handmaiden.
I believe so.
But when people talk about Park Chan-wook, they talk about the Vengeance trilogy, talk about Handmaiden, but The Cure is like it's a religious movie, it's a vampire movie, but it's done in such Thirst. That's what it is. Yeah. Such a good film, highly overlooked. I think it might be just as good as Handmaiden. But
nice.
And have you guys heard of this little show called Yellowstone?
The movie you're thinking of is Thirst.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of Yellowstone? It's a little unknown show. I can't believe that's the biggest show on television.
Stendhal says Blue Ruin and Hold the Dark by Jeffrey Saulnier were really good as well. I gotta be honest, I adore Blue Ruin. I have not watched Hold the Dark yet. I really need to, but yeah, Blue Ruin is fantastic. Macon Blair, who has been in Green Room, he has been in Blue Ruin. Fantastic actor in all of those films. He really, really does great.
I got one, Calm with Horses. Or I think the U.S. title is History of Violence. It's an Irish film. Fucking one of the saddest things I've ever seen in my life. I loved it. It's got a YouTuber as the main actor, and it's just he puts on a hell of a performance. Incredible. I wish they would have stuck with for the English name. I wish they would have stuck with Calm with Horses. It was on YouTube last I checked. Not on YouTube, Netflix, because Calm with Horses kind of ties into like a thing that happens in the movie. Just brilliant movie, brilliant.
The kid from The Green Knight and Dunkirk is in that. Okay, that's why I recognize him from the poster.
Yeah, he's got a really ugly face.
Yeah, very unique.
Oh, Upgrade. Upgrade doesn't get enough.
Upgrade is great.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Violent.
Fu says, "Sorry to Bother You" is too weird for me. I ended up really disliking it. It is very weird, that's for sure. Was Sunshine post 2000? God, that feels so long ago. Let me take a look at that one.
I feel like people misunderstand. I feel like the Hangover movies are horror movies. I don't find them funny. They just give me anxiety. They stress you the fuck out.
I think the first Hangover was a great movie until they released sequels, and it retroactively ruined that first one.
I still love when he goes, "Shut that baby up." I say that all the time. Shut that baby up.
Primer, that's a good one with Shane Carruth. That's a great movie. Arrow put that out
Oh,
too.
White Boy Rick. That's
White
a
Boy Rick
great
is pretty
movie.
good.
That's a fucking great. That's a great Matthew. That's a Matthew McConaughey performance I can tolerate.
Do you not love McConaughey at all?
He's all right. He's great. He's great. I mean, this has been said before, but he's so good in the first season of True Detective.
Yeah,
just phenomenal. But ever since he lost all that weight for Dallas Buyers Club, he's looked weird.
Yep.
Have you noticed that? He's just looked weird. And what's that one movie where he's the is it Samuel Jackson kills a white supremacist and he's the lawyer for him? What's that? Is it Lincoln Lawyer?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good movie. I like it.
The Dirties. God, I haven't heard anybody mention the Dirties in a long time.
That's what my wife calls my underwear.
Oh God.
Hey, love, you want to get me the Dirties?
Oh man.
What is Killer Joe?
Killer Joe is I believe, isn't that a Nick Cage film?
Probably. Oh, Clean.
Oh no,
With Adrian
no.
Brody.
Killer Joe's Matthew McConaughey and Emil Hirsch. I was getting it mixed up with that other one.
Have you listened to his autobiography?
Who's it? Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah,
or Nick
it's
Cage?
so weird.
Oh, no.
I mean, I would love to listen to Nick Cage. Matthew McConaughey has a weird part in this book where he's just talking about normal shit, and he's just like, "Yeah, I was raped in the back of a van by a man at the age of 14," and then just skips the rest of it, just skips right over it. It's like, what? Excuse me, sir. And he reads his own audiobook, so he's like, "All right, I was raped in the back of the van." I cannot do McConaughey at all. It's a weird voice to do.
Interesting. Stendhal says Enemy and Prisoners from Villeneuve. Obviously, we love those.
The Time to Kill? What's that? A View to Kill? Who's the guy?
A View to... Isn't that a James Bond film? Oh, A Time to Kill is the McConaughey and Samuel L. Jackson one that you were talking about.
Oh, okay. I said Lincoln Lawyer. I don't fucking know.
Although I believe he was in Lincoln Lawyer, but
Probably.
I don't think Samuel L. Jackson was.
But look at Matthew McConaughey pre-Dallas Buyers Club and then look at him after Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah.
Looks weird.
He did. Man, he has done some odd stuff. He went from Tropic Thunder and Ghosts of Girlfriends Past to The Lincoln Lawyer, Bernie, Killer Joe, Mud, Magic Mike, Dallas Buyers Club, Wolf of Wall Street, and suddenly these way out of left field, super dramatic titles.
Oh, there's something about him I don't like. I just don't like the guy.
I actually just recently got Killer Joe. I need to watch that. It's supposed to be
his
great.
Instagram is weird.
Never seen it.
Like when I just like when actors take themselves too seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he seems to take himself way too seriously. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're cute and you got a weird voice. You act in a movie. Who gives a fuck?
I mean, a lot of people.
I know my wife does. That's probably another reason why I hate him too. All right. He's still good in Dazed and Confused.
He is. Creepy as hell.
I used to think he was the man when I was little. I was like, dude, that dude's fucking cool. And then when you get older, you're like, he's a fucking loser. When you get older, you're like, God damn, that guy sucks ass. I was like 8 when I watched that movie for the first time.
Yeah.
That's such
probably about the same for me. I love Dazed and Confused.
That's such a good movie. Guy, that soundtrack, best soundtrack.
It is great.
I used to like put on the subtitles and I would write the name of each song that was playing, and then I burned a CD of it. And I don't even like that shit. That's boomer music. Dude. I don't even like that stuff.
Burning CDs.
You remember that?
Oh,
remember how cool that was? You remember how cool that was?
So glad I don't.
I'll never forget when I burned the Los Serapes boys. Isn't that the? You like know what I'm talking about? Down, down. Hey, or POD. You know,
I unironically love POD.
I unironically love Lost Lonely Boys. I said Los. I'm such a racist. I said Los Serapes boy because there's a Mexican restaurant in town named Los Serapes. So I just said Lost Lonely Boys. Yeah, that band slapped.
I think you need a nap or something.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is definitely overlooked nowadays. Like, not enough people are into the whole Shane Black thing.
Speaking of burning, did you ever download something back in the day and then it wasn't the thing you wanted? Because Taylor was like,
all the damn time.
Taylor was like, how did you watch like beheading videos? And be like, well, you're downloading Freak on a Leash, and you hit play, and it's a fucking beheading video, and you're just in fourth grade.
I don't know why, but when I was, I was probably about 14 or 15, and so it was the perfect style of humor. I loved the classic making fun of like satirical songs. So I would download every single thing that sounded funny, and just because it was a satire, all of them were tiled that they were Weird Al. And I was like, man, Weird Al has some weird voices, and none of them are him except for like the classic ones. But nowadays, I unironically also love Weird Al. I saw him live a couple years ago. One of the best shows I've ever seen.
I went through a phase for a year where I took Weird Al seriously, and I just listened to it nonstop. I was like, this is funny.
He is an incredible musician.
Yeah, he is. He's a good guy. He's like a good dude.
Foo says House of Wax is underrated. Is that post 2000? It is. I think it's 2005. Watched it a few weeks. It's one of the better late 90s, early 2000s tours. It really is. The ending of that film, genuinely really creepy.
You guys heard of a little movie called Matrix?
But only the Matrix Resurrections, right?
God, that movie's fucking stupid. Which again just proves my point. Women can't make good art.
So anyways,
wasn't Power of the Dog directed by a woman?
Yep.
She's not American though, is she?
No, I think she's New Zealand.
That's the problem. You got to have a little spice in there.
New Zealand makes it spicy.
Hey, they've got a rich history.
Peter Jackson.
Right? Hey, he's phenomenal. Peter Jackson. Dude, are you excited for the new Lord of the Rings TV show?
No.
I love King Kong. I love the video game King Kong on Xbox 360 because it was one of the easiest games to get 1,000 achievement points. You could just like play it for an hour and get them all. Same with the Avatar game. Are you excited for the Lord of the Rings TV show? No. I think the Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. I watched was it Wheel of Time? Every fantasy show, even The Witcher, Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, the only two I can think of, where the production, like the costumes and everything, don't feel cheap.
Right.
Like you look at The Witcher and Wheel of Time, it feels cheap. It looks, I don't know, there's a look to it. You know what I mean? It's just weird.
I do. And my problem, it's not that I'm not excited for everybody to love it or anything. I personally just don't fantasy. Like that's one of my least.
Yeah, neither do I.
One of my least enjoyed genres.
Yeah, I loved Game of Thrones, but talk about a fan base that just fell.
That's
you
true.
Go to.
Oh man, I don't know what's going on with Flip lately. At least once a show he is gone. I don't get it. There he is.
My internet connection is like the Game of Thrones fan base. No, but like if you go to like Reddit, for instance, one of my favorite things ever in the last decade was watching Game of Thrones on Sunday nights and then getting on Reddit and reading people's theories, reading all the like for years, just reading the theories. And then if you go to the subreddit, it's a ghost town now. but you go to subreddit for like the Shield, and they still have an active community. It's like it's so bizarre to me, man. It's just man. I hope those two fucking die. D&D. I hope they someone just sniper rifle, boom, just take them out. They ruined such a good thing. Allegedly, I was kidding.
To this point, I've still never even seen a full episode of Game of Thrones.
What's wrong with you?
It doesn't interest me.
What?
I don't love fantasy. I don't even like it that much.
I don't like fantasy either, but it's fucking great. I really enjoy it. Did you like Lord of the Rings?
I mean, I enjoyed the technical prowess behind it, but like the first movie, I hate it. It is the most boring introduction to a trilogy I've ever seen.
Have you seen the new Star Wars trilogy?
No.
Good for you.
No, I'm just not into it.
You don't like Star Wars?
I mean, I've seen the original trilogy and the Phantom Menace and half of the second one. That's it.
We just became even better friends. Star Wars sucks, dude. We should do an episode on like franchises that are like that, that blow us away that they're as big as they are. And it's Star Wars. I'm blown away that it's that big because they all suck.
I am genuinely impressed that the original Star Trek got the fan base that it got. That so many people are in love with the scientific and lore side of Star Trek that they made cons for decades. That it is super impressive to me. I don't understand it, but
if your show or movie has "star" as the first word, it's gonna suck.
There's got to be something that ruins that streak.
You know why The Mandalorian isn't a bad Star Wars adaptation? Because it's not called Star Wars The Mandalorian. It's just called The Mandalorian.
Never seen it. I don't know.
Book of Boba Fett sucks too, dude. Oh my god, have you been watching that?
No, I'm not into any of the Star Wars things.
Dude, Star Wars is just so stupid. I don't get it. It really is. I never got it.
I see the viewership tanking now.
But you know, like grown men who are like, "Oh, Star Wars!" Like, Star Search was a good show. Don't know what that is, Jeff.
You don't know what Star Search is? It was like American Idol for the 80s and 90s, except it wasn't just singing.
You tell jokes and stuff?
All kinds of things. That's how a lot of comedians got their start, actually. Speaking of telling jokes, yeah. Star Wars
is a very good. Is that real? Is that real?
I mean, I believe so.
Star Blazers, which is based on it's an anime based on a manga series by Leiji Matsumoto. Star Blazers 2199 or 2202, modern anime that's phenomenal. I love that. But yeah, Star Wars, Star Trek, just not good. And I've said before, Star Wars is only good when it directly imps off of Japanese cinema. The original trilogy, highly influenced by Akira Kurosawa. The prequels, terrible. The new trilogy, terrible. Mandalorian, it's Lone Wolf and Co.
I tried to look up anything on IMDb with the word star, and it just says there are 4,309 titles. Here's the first 50.
And they all suck. Here you go.
None of them start with star. That's the hard part.
But yeah, I do not like. Not a big sci-fi guy though. So you know.
Let me see if I have anything in my collection that starts with the word star.
Fist of the North Star, but that's when star is the last word, it's great because Fist of the North Star rocks.
Star Vehicle is better than Star Wars.
Honestly, I feel like the shit I'm going to take after this show is better.
I mean, obviously, especially the original trilogy, it's well done. I can't get into it.
Especially the new, dude. I'm still pissed that the last movie I saw in theaters was Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that hurts.
Still
Starship Troopers, that's a good one. Although it's not just the word star. That could be why.
Starship. There you go. See, you're having trouble finding something that's just star, space, word.
It's true.
See?
I was going to say Starsky and Hutch, but that has something after star.
See, Starsky. There you go. See? I like Neil Blomkamp's sci-fi.
I like a lot of sci-fi.
Like Chappie. I actually like Chappie. I like Diane Ward. I know they're terrible, but like, hey, buddy, boom, boom, hit up with the thing. I love it. Yeah. Star 80. Haven't seen it this day. What's that, Eric? What is Star 80, right?
I don't think I know.
Star Man. See, people are saying you guys are cheating. It's gotta be star, space, a word. It can't be one word that has star. See, Star Wars is for like nerds, and then Star Trek is for losers. Like, it's even worse than Star Wars. I'm just kidding, guys. I met someone who spoke Klingon, and he was like 40 years old, and I thought that was cool. I was like, "That's cool, dude."
All right.
Well, these two guys are talking about pornography.
Starman is good. I'd agree there. Oh, you know what? It's not amazing, but there is a Vinegar Syndrome title called Star. I think it's Star Time. 2 words. Star Time. And
See,
it's
Star plus Vinegar Syndrome. You lost me.
You have enjoyed some Vinegar Syndrome.
Yes, I have. I can't hate too much.
Well, anything else? I feel like everything is losing some steam tonight already.
Yeah, I sorry guys. I don't feel good. I've had a last. Today just sucked. Emotionally drained, so I'm not like giving it 100%. Sorry.
It's all right. It happens.
I'm gonna go and watch Lone Wolf and kind of feel really happy. No, Ryan, if you guys can do me a favor, Ryan, can you link my list? If you guys want, I took a lot of time and made this list. If you guys could follow me on Letterboxd.
I do still think that we can talk about this eventually.
Do you want to talk about it right now?
Just go through it real quick. It's just a lot to cover in one night.
You just want to do it real quick? I'll just go through it real quick.
Probably. Let me pull it up.
Wrath of Khan is the best Star. What's the Star Trek movie with Tom Hardy where he plays the villain?
We've been talking too much, so I had to search way back for this.
It's in '99, I think. The Star Trek movie, I'm thinking of. Tom Hardy rocks.
All right. Andy and Paper.
Whoa. Yeah, so guys, this is my list. This is the list I made. And I've tried to be objective with it. I tried to actually, not just be like, hey, The Wolf and Cub 1 through 6, best movies, I think there's only 2 Lone Wolf and Cub movies on here. So you kick it off, I talked about the first 3. Classic. Sword of Doom, very nihilistic. Lone Wolf and Cub, Baby Cart, River Styx, best movie. Yojimbo, Yum today. Thank you. You blocked a nice compliment. Yojimbo, which is mandatory, and then I kind of added a couple movies that no one's heard of. Bloody Spirit, Mount Fuji,
which is out from Arrow.
Which has an Arrow, great Arrow release. It's an anti-samurai movie, and it was a favorite of Akira Kurosawa's. Then we got Duel of Blood and Sand, which is very unknown. Highly recommend you guys track that down. I think it's a hidden masterpiece. I think that's objectively the best Zatoichi movie, which was Kenji Mizumi's final. He directed 4 movies, I think. His final Zatoichi movie. You got Kill. Bushido is actually really cool because Bushido is an entire like family lineage, and it's like tells their tale through like decades. We got Ron, which is cool, great. I'm only gonna talk about the ones that no one. And then Samurai Vendetta right next to it. So everyone's heard of. What Flip? Did you like Sogo Ishii's Gojo? That film's a badass. I don't remember that one off the top of my head. Where's Keanu's 47 Ronin? It would have been number 51. But speaking of 47 Ronin, Samurai Vendetta. You've heard about 47 Ronin, right, Ryan?
Of course.
So there's it's hundreds of movies are made of it. This movie takes one of the real life characters of the 47 Ronin, and it's like his life leading up to that moment. So it's a cool like outskirt 47 Ronin movie. Then we got Zatoichi and the Chest of Gold. We got Revenge. If you can scroll down a little bit.
Yes, sir.
This one, Samurai Assassin, Toshiro Mifune, great job. It's got the DVD is really shitty quality, like really shitty. It needs to get a re-release, new transfer. Bandit vs Samurai Squadron, 13 Assassins, which by the way, guys, Food for Thoughts podcast just did a great episode on 13 Assassins. Highly recommend it. And then we got Slaughter in the Snow, Sword of the Beast, and then The Betrayal. I want to highlight The Betrayal. That movie, I am blown away that nobody has heard of this movie, that this isn't as big as it is, or as big as it should be. This movie has one of the best sword fights ever filmed. It's top 3 favorite sword fights ever. Incredible stuff. And then standard stuff here and there, but then we got the second Sleepy Eyes of Death movie because it's great. We got a Toro Ishii film right next to it, which is Bachi, which is a great film, and Samurai Banners, which is Toshiro Mifune, directed by the same director as the Miyamoto Musashi trilogy, which is right below. He said that guy said that his 2 favorite projects ever, the movie he's most proud of, the Miyamoto Musashi trilogy, but then Samurai Banners, it's the film he's most proud of. And then you got Twilight Samurai, Kagemusha, keep scrolling, and you got. It's really hard for me to pick a favorite Rurouni Kenshin movie. I wanted to include one. I think the final is the best technical one. And then the bottom there, this is where I started to add some hidden gems. So we got the second Bounty Hunter trilogy movie, a couple Kenji Mizumi films, the Battle at Fort Edo, Shadowhunters, which is 3 Musketeers but samurais, Shinobi no Mano, Demon Spies, Red Lion, and then I ended it with Sonny Chiba, Shogun's Assassin. Or Shogun's Shadow, sorry. So yeah, those are 50 essential samurai movies. If you guys want to give it a follow, I'm going to be making more lists. Thinking about doing the top 50 essential Shaw Brothers movies.
That's going to be hard for you to
It's very hard. It's going to be very hard because there's so many genres. But yeah, do you want to wrap it up tonight?
Sure. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Next week there's going to be a much different theme, and we will be hanging out for quite some time next week. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. We will try to answer as much as we can. In the meantime, thanks for hanging out tonight. Hope you have a good week. We'll talk next time.
Love you guys.
See y'all.